Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call to order the City of West Palm Beach Special Magistrate hearing agenda for February 3rd, 2021. My name is Keith Davis. I'm the Special Magistrate appointed by the city to preside over today's agenda. Before we begin, if you'll please silence your cell phones so they don't interrupt our proceedings, that'll be appreciated. If you're going to be speaking to me today about any of the items on our agenda, your testimony needs to be under oath, so I need to swear everybody in. I can do that right now, so if you're going to be testifying, please stand and raise your right hands. Thank you. Do each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you. You can have a seat. We will proceed through the agenda. I think we have a couple cases we're taking out of order, and then we may be taking cases as folks signed in. For each case, when your case is called, if you're a respondent, you can come up to the podium to my right. The city will present its case at the podium to my left. We'll hear from the city first. There may be documents or photographs which will appear on the monitors. You'll have an opportunity to look at those documents. Once the city has concluded its case, you'll have an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have of the city's witnesses. After that, it'll be your opportunity to tell me whatever you feel you have as additional testimony that you want me to hear. In addition, if you have additional photographs or other documents that you want me to look at, that will be the time to produce those. Generally, that's how we'll proceed. So why don't we go ahead and get started? I think I was told we are beginning with agenda item 29.
Yes.
Thanks.
Matter number 29, CE21010011, 1152 Okeechobee Road.
Morning, Special Magistrate. Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach, property 1152 Okeechobee Road. Magistrate, this is a police case. I will give some of the preliminaries, and police will follow up with some of the additional information. Property 1152 Okeechobee Road was initially cited on 1/5/21. Certified mail was sent on 1/8/21. Certified mail receipt was returned. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted on 1/8/21. I did reach out to the club operator on 1/8/21 with a phone call, advised him of the fact that I was in receipt of a police report with regard to an incident that occurred at the property on 12/20/2020. Advised him that a notice of violation was being prepared and that it would be set for a hearing on today. This particular case is deemed, the violations rather are deemed irreversible and irreparable in nature because of the fact there was a special event that occurred at the property on 12/2020 with no special events permit submitted or any approvals from the city. The property was cited for 26-35, which deals with penalties for irreversible violations as a result of the event that was held on 12/12/20, as noted and documented in the West Palm Beach Police Department case. Also, the property was cited for 26-35-B, irreparable violation in nature, which once again, these violations are deemed irreparable and irreversible as the event has already occurred on 12/20/20. Also, 34-32-A, loud noise finding. Per the police report, upon their arrival, there was loud amplified music. There was a DJ playing music on the outside of the property. Also, the property was cited for 34-35-2, excessive noise prohibited. Again, loud amplified music. Per the police report, the music was audible from at least, I believe in the report it says 7 blocks away. Property was cited for 78-152. Which necessitates that a special event permit be obtained from the city prior to commencing or having such event that's transpired rather on 12/20/20 at 1152 Okeechobee Road. Okay. Oh, go ahead. The officers are here to provide some of the additional details.
Okay.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning. I was a responding officer for this incident. We received a noise complaint from a citizen that lives approximately 2 city blocks away.
I'm sorry, could you please state your name for the record?
Officer Medina,
And who do you work for?
the City of West Palm Beach Police Department.
And in what capacity?
I'm a road patrol officer.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, on 12/20/2020, at approximately 23:37 hours, which is 11:37 p.m., I was dispatched to the establishment, and in reference to loud music, we received a call from a citizen that lives approximately 2 city blocks away stating that they heard loud music. I made contact with the owner, which is here, Vincent Caracino, or Caraccio. And I advised him of the complaint. He lowered the music, but then a few minutes later, the music went back on. I advised him again. They turned it down, and again, it went back up, but this time louder. After that, Vincent asked for help to actually shut down the event. And it took approximately 6 police officers off the streets to come and assist with foot traffic and vehicle traffic. We observed approximately 300 people at the event and over 100 cars parked on the north and south of the street, Okeechobee Road. And it took approximately an hour to bring the music down completely and shut the party down. And the whole party was on the outside in a small enclosed area, but the music can be heard, like they said, 7 blocks away.
7, did you say?
Yep, we had officers sitting on Park and Dixie, and they could hear the music. And this is just west of Parker.
Is there additional testimony from the city?
Yes, sir. Mitch Posner, Code Enforcement. Just to add a little bit to that, there is a long stream of issues and police responses with this property. But this one outdid most of the others because it was outdoors, because it was a special event without the required special event permit, let alone application for such. If need be, we've got a sergeant in back that can testify to how often officers have had to respond to this property, even outside of that night.
Can I get, I have a question before I go over to the respondent. Can you explain what happened that would have required a special event permit for the activities that were occurring? And the testimony about the noise notwithstanding, but what qualified whatever happened as requiring a special event permit?
Essentially, in this case, that it was outdoors.
Pardon?
Essentially, in this case, that it was outdoors. The outdoor party itself would have required a special event.
Okay, the fact that it was an outdoor, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, I don't have any other questions. Is there additional testimony from the city?
Magistrate, I'm not sure if it was in the file, but I'd like to submit the officer report. It's a 3-page report from 12/20/20. Reporting officer narrative, incident investigation report. Reporting officer narrative is 1 page. Incident investigation report is 2 pages, for a total of 3 pages.
Wait, and I'm sorry, sir. Let me get your name and address, please.
My name is Vincent Caraccio, sir, representing 1152 Old Okeechobee Road.
All right, thank you. If you could show Mr. Grazio the documents first, and then I'll take a look.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much got the rundown of it, what happened.
So I'm going to submit it to him, and he'll ask you if you have any objection.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sir, do you have any objection to this report being made part of the record for today's hearing?
Sir, I mean, you know, it is what it is. The officer explained exactly everything that happened. Ignorance is no excuse. I didn't know I needed a special permit. These events, I've been approached many times. I was reluctant to take them, but due to the fact of the shutdowns and being closed from the time I got involved with this business, you know, we were closed like 2 months of getting it ready, making changes, and then we opened and we struggled and then shut down for 6 months. I took it, you know, I keep saying I'm trying to keep the wheels on the wagon without losing everything. And I basically, sometimes I think outside the box. And this was, it didn't work out, obviously. And to me, because I do respect law enforcement, I have family in law enforcement, I have 2 nephews that are getting totally disrespected up in New York. So I appreciate what they do. So to me, it was totally humiliating and embarrassing what these DJs were doing, because they lowered the music. I walked back inside the building, I was trying to eat, and all of a sudden the music shut out. I was out like, what's going on? What are you doing? And they did it again. And I, asked them to lower it. I went to the officers, and they're doing their job. I'm not upset with them at all. I appreciate them. When they drive by, I appreciate them. I like to see them. And then I went, they lowered it. I asked the officer, how's that? They were like, much better. Then I went inside the building again. Then a different DJ from out of town came. I don't know what his problem. And he was like, he started screaming, Palm Beach, get loud, and made it louder than it was. And I was mortified. I ran out of the building. I started hitting, first I go to hit breakers. I didn't know what to shut first. I didn't want to start a riot. They came back. I looked at them. I was embarrassed, and I welcomed their help. And, if this is not worth it, I would not do any more outside events after this. But I didn't know I needed a permit. It was struggling, You're just trying to do what you got to do at this point. I'm not trying to break it, no excuse to break the law. I didn't, I did a couple of them after COVID. I was reluctant. It's not that kind of a business. They go, can we do a little outdoor party in your parking lot? And the other ones went okay, and I do the streets after the people that ran the establishment before us. I went around, I introduced myself to the neighbors. I know a parking lot was locked that they used to use, and I figured that it was pretty simple to figure out that people were probably just throwing trash. And when I met them, there's exactly what was going on. And, I try to police the block better and clean things up to be a better neighbor. Even there's a scrap yard across the street, and there are men out, they're on line sometimes waiting for it to open. And I see they throw garbage out the window, but I figure I'm going to get blamed for it anyway, so I clean up that garbage also. And one of the neighbors, there's a brewery next to us, a little brewery, and I met one of the neighbors there. There was garbage at my house, I said, listen, I'm trying. I go so far at night picking, there's a bottle on my lawn. So I've been looking for golf carts, and I just finally purchased one. I had it all fixed, everything. I asked them to put a beacon on it, and they delivered it last night. So now at the end of the night, I could put, somebody driving, somebody in the back with a pail, and I'm able to cover more, a bigger area now to pick up garbage. If any of them, what we call pre-game, if somebody has drinking before they come in and throw the bottle on somebody's lawn, I wouldn't want it. So I try to respect the people of the area. I was fed some bad information when I bought, when we bought this building, this business, and now I'm there. So I have to work through it. So I'm trying to be a good neighbor. I try to respect law enforcement. When they drive by, I'm like, thank you, to keep everything's, I don't know what else to say. Was there loud music at my establishment on that night? Absolutely, yes, it was. You know, I apologize. There's really, you know, there's nothing else I could, you know, what else can I really say at this
Well, I
point?
appreciate that, sir. For housekeeping, we will go ahead and this is the three-page incident report, which memorializes essentially the testimony that I heard from the city's witness as acknowledged by the respondent. So that's will be made part of the record for today's hearing. Let me come back to the city. Do you have a recommendation?
Sir, this gentleman's testimony notwithstanding and trying to keep the wagons on the wheel, we understand that. But the situation with this one event was untenable. The resources that were required to deal with it, also untenable, which is why it was cited as irrevocable. Separate code issues have been cited separately. Bottom line is, the business hasn't even been cited. The property owner has been cited. Because on multiple points of contact with the property owner, the response is, A, it's not my fault, and B, the business will take care of it. City's asking for a one-time irrevocable fine of $10,000.
I'm not sure who the correct person is to try to answer this question. Do you have any sense, I heard the testimony that there were, I guess, 6 officers over a period of an hour to get this under control. Do you have any sense for the cost of those resources that the city had to incur to bring this under control?
No, sir. Neither Officer Medina or the sergeant in back have any sense of the cost of that.
Okay. And then a final question. Mr. Posner, you had mentioned that previous incidents, did those get to the point where they were at a hearing, or were they pretty much handled and resolved prior to having to come to a magistrate hearing and get an order?
Prior incidents didn't raise to this level. They weren't cited as irrevocable, so the incidents themselves wouldn't have been a code issue. It was inside the business. Have there been prior code issues? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, this open case and the new case that is being worked on by Officer Williams is holding up this owner's lien reduction application for this property because there have been other code issues.
Understood. Sir, do you have any follow-up questions or comments based on the questions that I just asked the city's witnesses?
I'm a little shocked at the number. The other issues that I've dealt with Mr. Williams, Michael Williams, I feel like I cooperate fully. There was other partners involved when we took over. We butted heads right away. His wife picked out a color, painted the building pink. We fought over that. Basically, the wives stopped talking over a color of the building. I thought it was disgusting, and I didn't think it helped the neighbors, the neighborhood. As soon as we were able to get rid of them, we painted the building immediately. Michael Williams, there was a rear door that had rust on it. We replaced the door. We found a used door. The landlord absolutely doesn't want to pay for anything, zero. Working on paying back rent, caught up 3 months out of the 6. And we were written up for a door that's like falling out of the building, and they absolutely want nothing to do with anything. They want us to, there's no mortgage, no anything, and so I replaced the door, Mr. Williams. There was a sink that was installed before I got that was there that we used, a slop sink. There was no permit for it. We removed it. The back of the building, one or the other, the building needed to be the same color all the way around. It was this ugly pink, disgusting. 3 sides of the building. The back was, he wrote me, the back of the building had to be repainted also. I bought 5 gallons of the ugly paint, and I'm like, do I really have to do this? I mean, we're so close to, where we want to change the color, it's just, and then we just bit the bullet, and I never painted it, and we painted the whole building in ice gray. And as the painters we were doing it, some people beeped the horn and said, thank God you changed the color. Again, we stepped up. I put some landscaping in there. So it was the paint, a rusted door, a sink, I don't know, whatever else there was. But, you know, sir, again, I'm trying as hard as I can, you know, to be a better neighbor. You know, I can't help with the, you know, my clientele is my clientele. You know, there's only so much I can handle that I can do, you know, within my power. You know, I don't know what else to say. You know, I'm trying to comply, but you know, to have a party to some people outside, we had a couple of them with no issues, no problems, and have this one incident. The suggestion of a $10,000 fine, I feel, is extremely excessive, and it's scary. To me, I'm scared right now because I feel like it's a hatchet job. Like this is just the beginning. That's exactly how I feel. For a noise complaint, to ask for a $10,000 fine. This is just you know, I see what's going to start happening here. The writing's on a wall, and it doesn't seem fair. You know, I'm kind of a victim. I got bad information when we got involved in this business, and here I am, and I'm trying to do the best I can. And even just by getting a golf cart so we could police the area better and clean the area better and just show, and even if you know, have a guy in a security jacket driving up and down a block, I think we'll all help with people getting out of their carts thinking twice if they're going to cause trouble. And I think, you know, I'm trying to be a step ahead as best as I can, sir. And I talked to Michael Williams, you know, I call him. You know, I had a problem with the neighbor. I said, do you think you can, you know, help this guy cut our tree down? It wasn't, you know, you know, but I didn't ask him to. I called the property owner, the landlord, and I go, did you give them permission to cut our tree down? It was a big, nice tree. No, and they left the stump there, and he just took it upon himself. So I've had much communication with Michael Williams. And listen, he writes a fine, you know, if he writes me up for a citation, he's doing his job. I have nothing, you know, I'm not mad at him either. I'm not mad at the law enforcement, you know. I mean, everybody has a job to do here, and I'm just doing the best I can, sir.
All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Anything else from the city?
Yes, sir. Two final statements. One is regarding the cost. There's also the immeasurable cost of pulling 6 officers out of the field in their assigned zones from the city at the time that this is being dealt with.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. If you have any sense for what that cost was.
Don't have it's immeasurable. I mean, the fact that their patrol areas are left open for that time, they're supposed to be patrolling for a reason, and obviously they can't fulfill that reason while they're tied up on the other thing. Now, the other thing is there's no question about conversations with the business, whether or not they're amiable, whether or not he's been respectful, absolutely. But the city is also not holding the business responsible, they're holding the property owner responsible. As the magistrate knows, it is ultimately the property owner's responsibility. Their arrangement with the property owner, who would pay any given fine, that's a civil matter between the business and the property owner. And it's not a matter of a hatchet job. The city asking for a $10,000 revocable fine is consistent with previous cases and previous decisions.
So, sir, can I say something, sir?
Anything else, Mr. Posner?
No.
All right, sir, final word.
Sir, you know, I try, you know, I'll never please everybody, but my landlord is 82 years old. And even with, you know, with notices, I've said, like, do you really have to tell her? I'm not, like, afraid of the woman. She's 82 years old. And you know, she's paid her dues. So with some things, I try not to aggravate her. That I try, you know, I really, when things happen, I'm like, do we really have to upset this woman because she's fragile? So during the COVID, and we never had a problem when we took over the business from Jay Gualdi. He said, you know, it's a really nice lady. She has bills to pay. Vinny, please don't screw her around. Make sure her money clears by the 5th of the month. She has bills to pay. And we did that every month. We made sure there was never a problem that money was cleared by the 5th of every month so she could pay her bills, and it wasn't a problem until the shutdown. Then she kind of lost it, and she was upset. I feel like you're screwing me. I'm like, you know, Mrs. Montgomery, we're not. This hit the whole country. It's around the world. Like, I'm doing it. You know, what do you want? You know, what do you want me to do? We're going to try to figure this out. Hopefully, it's over soon, and I promise you, you'll get every dime that you have coming to you. You know. So then she got a daughter involved who lives in Texas. So her daughter kind of took over and got a little rough, and then she's putting late fees on top of everything. But even I have like contact with the daughter, and the daughter sees that everything I said I was going to do, I've been doing. And when something happens, I call her, I'm giving you a heads up, I had this, but she goes, oh, I hope my mother doesn't get it, because she gets upset over this. I mean, the property owner, she's 82 years old. I mean, I don't, I'm not trying to upset this woman. She got shingles she was worried about COVID, and then she got shingles too. Like, it might not matter to some people, but it does matter to me. I'm not trying to shake this woman's life up. I mean, it was a party. It was a loud party, and I apologize. I mean, and I'm not gonna, it's not worth it. I wasn't worth it before I realized how serious that is. I walked in here. I mean, people have approached me already. I said, it's not worth it. It's not that kind of a business. We did a couple of parties, thought maybe we could pay a couple of bills. The electric got shut off at one point. We got it back on. Again, I'm trying to keep the wheels on a wagon here, and sending fines to an 82-year-old woman for a loud party. I think it's a little excessive, in my opinion, but, it's up to the court. And I hope you could possibly, it's the first time I've been here, and I hope you can be lenient with me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
One last question that I have, Mr. Posner, I think you testified that this open case was preventing this property from coming forward for lien reductions on other matters?
Yes, sir. She had applied. She applied a second time because based on this property, they failed the inspections twice. And then when she reapplied, this case opened up, and we said, look, before we proceed, this is going to have to get settled first.
Okay. So if a lien reduction comes, it would be the property owner, it would not be the business owner.
Who they choose to represent them would be their choice. As far as the city's concerned, this is the property owner.
Okay.
We actually object to any consideration of the age of the property owner in this case, who has an adult daughter also assisting and also speaking with the police. Bottom line is there's been no reason to believe she's incapable of managing these things. And her response is, oh, the club will take care of it.
Okay. First of all, I find proper notice in this case. The respondent is present. The city has proper certified mail and posting documents in the file. There doesn't seem to be any question, and I do find, based on the testimony and the evidence, that the property did violate city code sections as cited. I find that those violations, based on their nature, were irreparable and irreversible in nature. The city's made a recommendation for a one-time fine of $10,000. Respondent has pretty much acknowledged what happened, has apologized. I appreciate the position you've taken as opposed to trying to argue about it. I'm going to impose a one-time fine of $5,000 in this case, but let me tell you, if this comes back for a request for lien reduction, I can't think of a reason that I would reduce the $5,000 for any reason whatsoever. A lot of times people will come back for a lien reduction request, and the city will make a recommendation. I can't imagine that anybody could come back and tell me any reason not why this should be reduced any further, because the fact of the matter is, I agree with Mr. Posner. At the end of the day, it's the business's responsibility, and the city expended significant resources to get this under control, and that the city is not the babysitter of any property in the city. So those are my reasons, and that will be my order, and I think that should be it for this case. Okay.
How much time do I have to pay?
I'm not setting a time limit, but what'll happen is if it's not paid, the city can record the order and it will become a lien against the property, and then that will have to be dealt with.
But is there like payments involved, or this is like?
My order will not
I'm
set a
blown away
payment
right
plan. It's simply going to impose the fine. And as I said, under the law, the city can record that order as a lien against the property, and then at some point, the law would allow the city to foreclose against that lien, and whether or not the city does that is up to the city. But I think that, based on everything I've heard, that what I've come up with is the appropriate resolution in this case. All right, thank you both very much.
Can I make a partial payment now, sir?
You can speak to city staff about that level of logistics.
Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you, you too.
Matter number 1, CE 2101-0076301 Lamberton Drive.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Inspector Attilio Belisle. Case was initially cited on January 7th, 2021 for a gas regulator that was currently installed in a pool equipment room, malfunctioning and leaking natural gas into the area, causing an unsafe condition.
So just so, but I'm looking at the pictures while you're testifying. Am I looking at a broken
It's a it's a gas regulator for a pool heater.
Okay. And gas was leaking out of that?
Yes, inside the pool equipment room. Maintenance, see that right where the mouse is? Somebody had, a maintenance guy apparently cut the vent opening, allowing an unsafe condition and causing potentially an explosion. The relief valve opens up and it allows natural gas to enter that room instead of it going out that copper line through the side of the building and venting to the outdoors. The property was cited for an unsafe condition. We received proper notice via certified mail and posting on site. They have currently applied for a gas regulator permit. They applied, however, they did not submit a permit application. They simply just uploaded their insurance information for the gas contractor, which is not sufficient for a building permit. We need more documentation in order to issue a building permit. The gas contractor needs to apply properly with a gas permit for the replacement of this gas regulator. And once that has been obtained, an inspection needs to commence within 30 days.
Are you able to, I don't know if red tag is the right term, but
Stop work order.
Pardon me?
A stop work order.
Okay, so this is not operational at this point, or
It's
operating?
in operation. It's in operation, and I advise them that they need to shut the gas off to the pool heater to stop and litigate any kind of further explosion.
Okay, so, I mean, clearly this is pretty serious, so what
Yes.
kind of, what do you want me to order? I mean, I think
30 days, $150 a day.
all right. Is there anybody here on behalf of the respondent for this case? All right, there is not, but the city has proper notice with the certified mail and the posting. I also find that this particular violation certainly is a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare. I will find that the property remains in violation as cited. I will accept the city's recommendation for 30 days for the respondent to comply. Thereafter, daily fines of $150 per day. I'm also going to add to the order that the city is authorized to enter the property, abate the violation, and assess those costs if the city feels that that's appropriate.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Matter number 19, CE 2101-0003, 937 30th Street.
Good morning.
Ray Liang, City of West Palm Beach, code compliance. 937 30th Street was initially cited on 1/4/21 with a notice of violation posted at the property and City Hall on 1/20/21. Certified mail was sent on 1/5/21. Property was cited for 18106A, trash and debris, and 18265, boarding certificate. No contact has been made with the owner, but the tenant is here today. The violations did exist as of yesterday morning, but the tenant did instruct me that this morning everything is in compliance. Therefore, the city's requesting just 10 additional days just to take the photos to show compliance, or $100 per day until compliance is achieved.
Okay. Thank you. Sir, if you can tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the case.
Darren Kroll. My address is 937 30th Street. I'm the tenant,
Yes, sir.
and I had started to take down the boards, and I got sick. They were halfway down, and then somebody was supposed to come and help me with it. Nobody came to help me with it. I got the notice yesterday, and everything was taken down, and all the trash is cleared out.
All right. The city's suggesting that I give you an additional 10 days. You comfortable you can have it done in 10 days?
I mean, I just have to take all the stuff out of my truck to the dump, and then everything is
Okay.
fine.
That sounds like that should be enough time to me.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Anything else from the city?
No, sir.
All right. Then in this case, I do find proper notice. The respondent is present through the tenant of the property. Based on the evidence and the testimony, I will find property remains in violation as cited. It sounds like there may have been some forward progress, though, that needs to be inspected, so I will accept the city's recommendation, allow the additional 10 days for the respondent to comply. After the 10 days, though, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matter number 11, CE 20120076, 1493 North Mangonia Circle.
Good morning, Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited December 7th. Certified mail was received on December 10th. The property and City Hall were posted December 9th. I've had contact with the property owner. Property was cited for 94487B1 and 9471-C. The city is requesting an additional 5 days or $200 per day until compliance is achieved. And I just want to put on record, when I did speak to Ms. Marianne about removing the pod, she told me she would not do it. And she feels as though she is being targeted, and we should just leave her alone and allow her, for her to do whatever she wants at that property.
Okay, so I see the picture of the pod. What is the prohibited vehicle?
That's the pod.
That's the pod as well?
It's-
Okay.
Yeah, it's not allowed in a residential neighborhood. It needs to be removed.
So is it not permitted at all, or
It's
is
not
it not
permitted at
permitted in
all.
that location?
It's not permitted in a residential neighborhood.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right, and the city's recommendation was for 5 additional days to get the pod removed, and thereafter daily fines of $200 per day?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, let me hear from the respondent. Yes, ma'am, if you could tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the case.
Yes, sir. My name is Mary Ann Thomas. I live at 1493 North Magonia Circle.
Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead.
I do have a pod in my yard that I obtained. I obtained this pod. It says on 11/20, and I have the pod. Sir, back in I want to say 2017, I have all my receipts here. I had a pod for 7 months. I have all the receipts to prove it. I never got written up.
Okay.
As I drive through the neighborhood, sir, because she writes me up on everything, and I've called Mr. Posner, and I've told him that this lady is harassing me. If you drive by 1562, there's a pod sitting in that yard at 1462. I called the city, a guy named Tom, walked me through how you can do an aerial view of the properties. I did an aerial view. That pod has been sitting there since January of 20. Then he also showed me how to go into the system and see who's been written up for anything. Man has never been written up. He's had a pod for over a year, but this girl constantly harasses me. What makes a difference for him to have a pod for over a year and I can't have a pod for a couple of months? I don't understand it. She writes me up for vehicles that are parked on property, non-paved property. I want to present this to the court. She has to pass this vehicle parked on non-paved property, sir. I want to give you these.
Well, first I want you to show Ms. St. Hilaire that whatever you want to show me, and after the city's looked at it, then I'll take a look.
Before you can get to my house, you have to pass these properties. I did an area view of that. That same, you'll see in my evidence, that same vehicle was parked there in January of 2020. Non-paved property, pulled up their information, never been written up. She told me inoperable vehicles are not supposed to be parked. Did the same, a car on Palm Beach Lakes, inoperable, can't even drive. And that car has been parked there again since 2020. It won't even move. She has ridden by this property, and you haven't ridden these people up yet, and I pulled every incidence of their write-up. This man done had this car for over a year. Why is he not ridden up? And I called Mr. Paulson, and I told him, this girl is harassing me about any and every little bitty thing. I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm going wrong. I cried to this man on the phone, telling him, this girl keep harassing me. I don't know if it's a black thing or what.
Okay.
But I don't get it. I pull every one of my write-ups I have here. Trash, I get wrote up for that. People have trash. Inoperable car. My cars are not inoperable. I do park them on an empty lot next door. Wrote up for that. And then I made sure I wrote the whole neighborhood. How's it that these people can't get wrote up and I am? And I just feel pounced on by the city. I
Okay.
pay taxes just like them. They doing the same thing I'm getting in violation for. She passes these people's house to get to me. No violations. And that's all I ask for is for them to be fair. That's it. Be fair.
All right, thank you, ma'am. So let's first talk about the photographs that the respondent wants to be made part of the record. Does the city have any objection to those?
Magistrate, the city has no objection. They're not time and date stamped, however, and if they were printed off the typical way of looking up Google Maps,
Ma'am, I'll come back to you in a minute. Go ahead.
typical Google Maps are not, they're not a live view. She even said these were from 2020. I don't know what's there today. Given an address, she will certainly check and cite anything that's necessary.
Okay, so can I go ahead and get the photographs, and then I'll take a look, and we'll make those part of the record without
Sir, their
objection.
time and date stamped in my phone. I just had to take them to a reprographic shop to have them printed enlarged
Well, why
so that
don't
they
you
could be
tell-
seen.
Why don't you tell me when you took the pictures?
Okay.
So first, we have a photograph. The address on the mailbox is 1462, and it depicts a pod in the driveway. Looks like there's 2 copies of that, and then what purports to be an aerial view. It's a little pixelated. Do you know when that picture was taken, ma'am?
I'm going through the phone right now, sir. Pray to God that I didn't delete it. Man, itching. Ugh.
Generally, ma'am, were they taken in the year 2020, or
Yeah,
are they?
I just took the pictures. Like those from that car was taken on the 25th, and I started to stop this morning to take another one. But I was in a rush to get here. But I just took it. If you go over there, you'll see it sitting, that pod sitting there right now.
So your testimony is these pictures accurately reflect the condition of the property as they exist right now.
Right now, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right now.
And
I'm
that
looking
goes
for the
for
part in here, though.
1523 and 1483 as well.
I thought he date stamped them, because he told me to send him, download it on the little junk drive and bring it to him. And so I thought okay, the part was taken December 15th. It's right here in my phone.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
In the area view, Tom upstairs told me how to go on and do an area view. And the area view indicates that all those items were sitting in place in January, a whole year ago of 2020.
All right, so for the record, we have three groups of photographs. One, the address is 1483, one, the address is 1523, and the third, the address is 1462 9th Street. Let me come back to the city. Do you want to address any of that?
Yes, sir. Magistrate, every single property owner that calls to complain because they've been cited says they're being targeted, saying it's apparently about them, the officer has something against them. This particular property under current ownership has been cited a total of 13 times, the last 3 of which was this particular officer, because that's our area of assignment. This particular officer, and I can find the numbers if I need to, has a heavier caseload than anybody else in my department because she's doing her job. And it's not because she cited this particular property 200 times in the last year. It's because she's citing properties in violation. Given an address, we'll certainly check if there's pause there and cite if needed. When I spoke with her, the best way I can characterize the conversation is uncooperative. But bottom line is I asked for addresses, and at the time she didn't have them, and she did not call me back with any addresses. I did ask Officer St. Hilaire to keep an eye out for any other pods, and she cited numerous properties since citing this one. It is not about targeting. It is not because Officer St. Hilaire has any problems with black people, as she stated.
No,
bottom line is she's in violation, and even if other properties are, it doesn't absolve her of that violation. It just means we have to cite that property.
All right, thank you very much.
Can I say this, sir?
Yes, ma'am, you can have the final say. Go ahead.
Okay. My part that I had in 2017, for 7 months, I was never cited. And with saying that, I read through the codes. The codes haven't changed since 2017. So what prohibits me from having the pod today? If I had it for 7 months in 2017 and never got written up, what prohibits me from having it today and the codes haven't changed?
So the best way I can answer that, and I'm going to throw myself under the bus, I broke more than one speeding law on my trip to City Hall today, and I didn't get pulled over and given a ticket.
Okay.
There have been other days where I broke a speeding law and I got pulled over and got a ticket. The fact of the way local government works is there are limited resources that have to be used to the best way that the local government can figure out how to use them. And code enforcement is one of those things. Every violation doesn't get cited, it doesn't get picked up, and it doesn't get caught. It's just not possible.
Okay.
Just like people like me driving too fast on the highway. I don't get a ticket every day. I get a ticket every now and then, but I don't get a ticket every day. It's the same thing. Hopefully none of the officers are paying attention.
I believe they left, sir.
So, I mean, that's the best way I can answer that question.
Okay, I
And
get
that
but
really goes
for the record, I do want to say I feel like she's harassing me. If I need to get legal counsel, I will after today, because there's no way with you getting traffic tickets that she can pass these places that has all these violations, because you gotta pass them to get to me, and they're not being cited. So,
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I will tell you from my chair, Ms. St. Hilaire, and all the other code officers in the city, I've never seen them be anything but consummate professionals.
I understand.
And I would say that to anybody who questions
I understand.
their professionalism.
You just don't know black women, I'm telling you, but that's okay.
Magistrate.
I'm good with it.
Yes, sir.
If I can make one point, then Officer St. Hilaire wanted to speak as well. In 2017, that wasn't her assigned area, so I can't speak as to what was there and what might have been missed, but she wasn't there at that time even.
I understand.
Also, just to put on record, this is character assassination.
You're right.
As far as me being a black woman,
Okay.
I work in a predominantly black area. So, of course, most of my caseloads will be black people. I don't have anything against women, black men, or anyone that's black. Let's just put that on record, because I don't want that going out and it being a thing.
Well, that's how I feel. You can't
That's
stop the
great.
way I feel.
I just
All
want to
right,
put that
I
on
got
record.
it.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, in this case, I do find proper notice. The respondent is present, and the city has proper notice documents in the file. Based on the testimony and the evidence, there doesn't seem to be any question that this property is in violation as cited. Whether or not there are neighboring properties that also may have code violations, the city's testified that either of those have been cited or will be investigated. And as Mr. Posner testified, and I agree, each code enforcement case really has to stand and fall on its own merit. So I do find the property remains in violation. I'm going to give you 14 days to comply. Thereafter, there will be daily fines of $200 per day until compliance is achieved. So I'm giving you more time than the city requested.
Okay.
But you do need to come into compliance if you want to avoid the daily fines. And all of these documents will be made part of the record for today's hearing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Matter number 30, CE 21010044-632 Hibiscus Street. Number 30.
Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 632 Hibiscus Street was cited on 1/6/21. Certified mail was sent on 1/30/21. The certified mail receipt was returned. City Hall was posted on 1/7/21. The notice was hand-delivered to a Mr. Evelyn McFarlane, who was at the front desk. He's an employee. Property was cited for 18106M, maintaining the landscaping as there's multiple areas of the swale where the sod is dead and or dying, and also some of the areas of the swale is filled with rock, whereas you can only have landscaping. 78-94C, swale areas along Sapodilla requiring sod, 94-451A, location of artificial turf. There's artificial turf in multiple areas of the swell where it is not allowed along the Sapodilla area. And 94-451-D, artificial turf is unapproved. And so for those reasons, the property is here. I spoke to the respondent on multiple occasions with regard to this property. She indicated that I guess there was some ambiguity in terms of who's responsible for the maintenance, and so she's here to provide some light on that situation.
All right, and what is the city's recommendation for remedy in this case?
I'd like to hear what the respondent has to say in terms of, because I'm not
Okay.
aware of, where they are in terms of who's responsible for it, if it's kind of convoluted or if it's, straightforward.
Fair enough. Let's, yes, ma'am, if you could tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the case.
Yes, I'm Harriet Freeman, and I'm here in my representative capacity for the association, and I'm the vice president of the
And
association.
if I can get you a little closer to the microphone, that'll be helpful.
Yeah, I hate to take off my mask, though. I'm Harriet Freeman. Is that better?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm here in my representative capacity for the association. I'm the vice president of the association, and I'm also an attorney, but that's not how I'm here representing
My
the
condolences.
association. The first issue is what Mr. Williams stated, that the notice of violation is directed to City Place Retail LLC. We are the occupants adjacent to the swell areas, the areas in question that are in violation. We do not own, our position is we do not own the sidewalk or the swale, and we do not control or maintain the sidewalk or the swale. That's, I'm going to use a generic related. It's part of the City Place project, the Rosemary Square project. And the notice of violation is to City Place Retail LLC. I was hoping that they would be here today. I don't believe they're here. Is that correct? Is anybody here? So I don't know what their position is. They're very difficult to get a hold of, almost impossible. However, as you are probably aware, almost all the sidewalks and swale areas have been redone in the City Place project. The only area that hasn't been redone is the area where the violations have occurred. We, and I believe the city, but I don't want to say for sure because I haven't been part of the negotiations, and related have been talking about who should do what with the sidewalk. Our position to them has been that we don't own the sidewalks. And they have not, there's been several surveys out there. Who owns what is still in question. We have not been able to find any agreements as far as maintenance, but I have here, and I would like to put into evidence, Exhibit 1 and a composite Exhibit 2. It's an email and bill that shows that we were not responsible for maintaining, that it went through city-related. Who do I hand this to for you? To go to the clerk or to you?
Mr. Williams, do you have any objection to these made part of the record?
No.
Okay. Let me go ahead and take a look at those, and we'll make them part of the record. Well, somebody needs to get me. Thank you, sir. Okay, so for the record, I have a December 7th, 2017, well, let's see, it actually starts on December 6th and December 7th, email correspondence. Regarding maintenance, it looks like of oak trees in the sidewalk area. And then we have a January 30th, 2018 Colonial Cast Stone Inc. invoice for sidewalk repair on Hibiscus Road in Sappadilla and bollard repair. So without objection, these will be made Respondents 1 and Composite 2 for today's hearing and be made part of the record.
So as you can see, based on Exhibit 1, that the city did cut the trees that are in the swale, but they had to obtain approval from City Place, not us. Even though we were the ones that were requesting it, they weren't able to cut the trees, trim the trees with just based on our request. The request had to be approved by City Place. And then when there was a sidewalk repair to be done, as you can see, it was City Place that paid for the bill, not the courtyards. In addition, there is an irrigation problem with that piece of property along Sappadilla and maybe also Hibiscus. And it is my understanding that it's City Place related that controls the irrigation. There is an irrigation system that's in place, but the turn-on valve is like further down on Sappadilla, and the courtyards does not control that. It's City Place. And we've been having a problem with City Place and the irrigation. So when there's no way to maintain the sod, if we planted new sod, if courtyards went ahead and put in the sod, because we agree, it looks awful. You know, we want it redone also. But if we do it and we don't have city-place cooperation, we don't have any irrigation to keep it in order. And that's why the rocks were put in, because we didn't need the irrigation system to maintain the rocks. Now, I don't know if you look at the pictures, the rocks aren't that great, but if you drive by, the rocks look really nice. But maybe it's not within the code, the rocks.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, maybe we can work out something temporary to make it look nicer until the whole project is redone. Because the sidewalks and the swale areas and the drainage and the lights are going to have to be redone. It's all outdated, and it's going to have to be updated, whether it's going to be that we do it, or City Place does it, or the city does it, or it's a joint venture of all of us involved. I don't know. That has to be worked out. But in the meanwhile, we can't do anything without City Place related cooperating. Let me see if I have.
Okay, looks like a big mess.
Yes, it is. It is a big mess, and you know what? We've been trying to sort it out, but we haven't. Mr. Williams was very helpful on the phone, and he's referred me to a couple people at the city, and I'm still trying to get together with the surveyor. But even if I get together with the surveyor, it's still going to require related City Places cooperation. So can we possibly get an extension of 6 months to sort all this out? Or I don't know what it would take to get that picture of the rocks, it just doesn't look that nice. But I mean, Mr. Williams, what do you think? Does it look nice when you drive by?
Well, regardless, let me ask this question. I mean, can the city respond to the testimony that we have the wrong respondent in terms of who's responsible for this?
Well, the city cited the proper respondent as it's indicated in the Palm Beach County Property Appraisers. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like they responded, which is somewhat typical, but
they're not here.
right.
So, and that's who
And
the
it
notice
sounds,
of.
and it sounds like regardless, even if this is going to require, as you've explained, cooperation between multiple entities in
Right.
terms of whoever puts in the ground cover is different than who's responsible for the irrigation, is different than who's responsible for the actual public infrastructure. My inclination is to continue this. I'm not sure I want to continue it for that long, but maybe put this on my April agenda as a status hearing, and maybe we can see if we can get some forward progress and get folks talking to each other and figure out, see if we can at least have a plan by the
Okay.
whatever date in April is appropriate for me.
April 7th
April
is your...
7th.
Okay.
So let's do that. Let's, I think you have proper notice, but I'm not going to make any findings today. Let's set this for a status hearing on the April 7th agenda, and between now and then, try and use our best efforts to get everyone who needs to be talking about this, and hopefully we'll have some better insight and a plan forward by then.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so I will sign that order in this case. Thank you,
Okay,
appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am.
Matter number 2, CE 21010118-727 Mill Valley Place.
Good morning, Officer Levine, City of West Palm Beach. Code. This property was cited for failure to renew its rental license on 1/12/2021. It's a repeat violation of case number CE 18040136. As of this morning, the property was still out of compliance, which brings it to 23 days out of compliance. The city is requesting $75 a day until this property comes into compliance with renewing its rental license.
And what was the date the repeat was
112,
January 12th? So you want $75 a day beginning January 12th until compliance is
until
achieved?
compliance is achieved, yes, sir.
And how did you get notice for today's hearing?
Certified mail was returned, the property was posted on 1/13/2021.
Okay. It does not appear we have a respondent present, but I will find proper notice with the certified mail and posting. Based on the testimony, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I'll find that the violation is a repeat violation based on the 2018 case number. I'll accept the city's recommendation and impose daily fines of $75 per day beginning January 12th, 2021, and continuing each day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matter number 3, CE 20120302 Division Avenue.
Good morning.
Morning.
Officer Phil Cartwright, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property at 401 Division Avenue was originally cited on December 30th of 2020 for clean and sanitary conditions, excessive overgrowth, landscape maintenance, and failure to comply. Service was achieved by certified mail. The property was posted on December 30th of 2020, as well as City Hall. All violations are still current. The city is asking that the property come into compliance within 5 days or abatement.
5 days or what?
I'm sorry?
5 days or?
5 days or abatement.
Abate. Thank you. Is this the vacant lot that I'm looking at? Is that what?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's really bad. All right, I will find proper notice with the posting and the certified mail. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I'll find that the violations constitute a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare, given the condition of the overgrowth. We'll accept the city's recommendation, allow the respondent 5 additional days to comply. Thereafter, the city is authorized to enter the property, abate the violations, and assess the costs.
Thank you.
Matter number 4, CE 20120133 529 Revere Road has complied. Matter number 5, CE 21010158 3709 Parker Avenue.
Let's skip it, we're gonna go back to that.
Let's reschedule.
Number 5 is rescheduled. Thank you.
Matters number 6 and 7, CE 20120196 and CE 20120197 4501 South Flagler Avenue.
John Frosco, West Palm Beach Code, chronic nuisance. This property was declared a chronic nuisance on these properties, were declared a chronic nuisance on December 15th of 2020. They were based on 2 cases prior adjudicated of non-compliance. One lot was complied by the city contractor, the other was complied as the city contractor got there and the owner complied that. Nevertheless, they were both non-compliant. No response from the owner, no action plan. Notice was sent out January 7th of 2021 for both properties. And magistrate, for the record, they're 2 separate mailing addresses, but both cases were sent to each mailing address. So we used both of them for both cases to make sure that we could get notice. I have not heard from the owner since to date, and the city is requesting that you formally declare these a chronic nuisance and enter a service order allowing the city to abate with services such as cutting and cleaning, but not limited to, and all costs billed back to the owner of the property.
Are these adjacent vacant lots? Is that what?
They're contiguous to each other with the same owner. Mailing addresses in the property appraiser's office for the tax roll were two separate addresses, but we mailed both violations to each one, so we doubled up. So if they didn't get it with one, they should have got it with the other, and so forth.
And that was certified mail?
Certified mail.
And it looks like the property was posted, I can see in the pictures.
They were posted exactly the same date.
Yeah. All right, well, I will find proper notice even though the respondent is not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, the city's declaration of chronic nuisance is upheld. The city is authorized to provide chronic nuisance services to the property and assess the costs to include the vegetation,
services.
trash and debris, whatever other nuisance abatement activities required. And if I didn't say assess the costs against both.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Matter number 8, CE 2012-0175, 742 53rd Street.
City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance, Robert Watkins. This property was cited on December the 14th. Certified mail was sent December the 14th. It was returned January the 4th. City Hall was posted January the 15th. This property was cited for 7894-C, 2635-B, 94-482-A, 94-71C, 94-442C-1, 105.1, and 18-106A. I've had no correspondence with the property owner or anyone representing the property. The city is requesting an additional 30 days or $100 per day after, and all violations are still remain out of compliance.
Is this a repeat or is this irreparable that you're seeking?
Say again?
One of the, at least on my agenda, it lists 2635B, repeat/irreparable violation.
No, that, that one was supposed to be taken off. I neglected to take that one off on there.
Okay. All right, well, then I do find proper notice in this case with the posting and the returned certified mail. What was the building permit?
For the electrical conduit and the new lights they installed outside, it seems as if they drilled through one of the units and then just ran the wire in the front. You'll see it in flex conduit on the side of the building. I spoke to someone in building and in permitting, and there's further pictures over. They advised me of the same thing.
Okay.
You see it right there?
Oh, that?
And it's right above the water spigot.
Yeah.
And
Got it.
they have it going along the side.
Okay, based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. 2635B is on the agenda in error, so to the extent that that's included, I'm not making a finding on that code section. Otherwise, I will accept the city's recommendation, allow the respondent an additional 30 days to comply. Thereafter, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 9, CE 2012-0225, 419 49th Street.
City of West Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited December the 17th. Certified mail was sent December the 18th. Certified mail was received the 21st of December. Property was cited for 74-4C-3, 78-6, 105.1, 18-106B. Compliant violations were 18-106B, 74-4-C-3. Remaining violations are 105.1 and 78-6. I've had correspondence with the property owner and representative, and we collectively come together 60 days to get everything in compliance, or $100 per day after. Just gives her enough time to get the permits for the shutters and putting in new windows that
Okay.
were up.
Okay, I will find proper notice with the received certified mail. Based on the testimony, I will find the property remains in violation of City Code Sections 105.1 and 78-6, but has complied with 18106B and 74.4C3. I'll accept the city's recommendation to allow the respondent an additional 60 days to comply. After that, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 10, CE 2012-0003, 1036 19th Street.
Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on December 1st. Certified mail was received December 4th. The property and City Hall were posted December 9th. I've had no contact with the property owner. The property was originally cited for 18113B, 18113J, and 34102B. The property has complied with 34102B. At this time, the city is requesting an additional 60 days or $100 per day until compliance is achieved.
All right, I will find proper notice. In this case, I will find that the property has complied with 34102B, but based on the testimony and the evidence remains in violation of 18103B and 18103J. I will accept the city's recommendation to allow an additional 60 days to comply. After that, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Thank you.
Matter number 12, CE 2010-0097, 633 Colonial Road.
Alpine Road, correct? No, 633, I'm sorry. This mess is about to drive me crazy. Officer Luster, West Palm Code. The property was posted on 1/14/2021. I have spoke with the owner, and the property was cited for failure to obtain a building permit, required inspections for permits, garbage can placement, numbering standards, a landscape plan, also citing the swell, required parking requirements, and outdoor storage. Every violation is complied except for requiring the permit for the windows. He put in new windows on the east side of the entire property, had no permit, and that's the only thing that's left. Everything else is complied, and I spoke with him. He thinks it'll take him about 90 days to get permits, get the windows inspected, and I granted the 90 days, and I'm asking for 90 days or $50 per day after.
So that's 105.1 and 110.3 that are the only ones that are outstanding. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will find proper notice with the returned certified mail and the posting. I will find, based on the testimony and the evidence, that the property remains in violation of City Code Sections 105.1 and 110.3, but has complied with all other violations alleged in the notice. I'll accept the city's recommendation to allow the respondent an additional 90 days to comply with the outstanding violations. After that, daily fines of $50 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 13, CE 2010-0405, 141 Alpine Road.
Officer Luster, West Palm Code. Property was posted on 1/14/2021. I've had no contact with the property owner. The property was cited for clean and unsanitary condition, trash and debris, tree and hedge obstructing the public right-of-way, sidewalk, fence in disrepair, and visibility triangle. They have cleaned up the property for unsanitary conditions, and they cut the trees back in regards to the obstructing the public right-of-way. The fence repair is still in disrepair. I cited this property initially on an inspection report, thinking they would just go out and do the violations on 10/29/20. I had no response, so I had to turn around and actually write a NOV, a notice of violation, on 12/14/20, and that's when I got a somewhat response. but they still have not complied the poor fencing. They did have a permit initially when they installed the fencing, but now it's in disarray. So I'm asking for 30 more days or $100 per day.
Is the visibility triangle issue resolved?
The triangle issue is resolved.
Okay, so just the fence wall
The fencing
maintenance.
is left.
Okay. I will find proper notice in this case with the posting. I will find, based on the testimony and the evidence, that the property remains in violation of City Code Section 94-302A4, but has complied with all other code sections. I'll accept the city's recommendation to allow the respondent 30 additional days to comply. After that, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Matter number 14, CE 20120214-361 Orange Way has complied. Matter number 15, CE 20120001-1401 Village Boulevard, Unit 1015.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On December 1st, the property at 1401 Village Boulevard, Unit 1015, was cited for permit requirements, required inspections, rental license violation, hot water heater in need of replacement, and certificate of use. The property was posted January 13th. Certified mail was sent December 1st. Certified mail was returned December 2nd. This was an initial complaint from the tenant of this unit. She was complaining that the hot water heater, the owner was supposed to replace the hot water heater, but has not, and she's been without hot water. And upon further investigation, there was no permit pulled for that hot water heater replacement or a rental license. With that being said, I've had no contact with the owner. City is recommending 45 days for the obtaining of the permits, or $100 a day, 30 days to obtain the rental license and COU, or $200 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. With the return to certified mail and the posting, I find proper notice. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I'll accept the city's recommendation, require compliance with 105.1 and 110.1 and 1897.8 by obtaining the necessary permits within 45 days. Thereafter, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved for the rental license and certificate of use violations, which are 18162A and 2232A. I'll also accept the city's recommendation, require compliance in 30 days, and thereafter, daily fines of $200 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
I wanted to add something else to that, Magistrate. I did make contact with the tenant on January 13th. She did verbalize to me that the hot water heater had been replaced.
Okay.
So 1897-A is in compliance.
So it just needs to be permitted. And
Permits and rental license.
So, but the permitting and inspection still has to happen?
Yes.
Okay, so noted. So 1897-8 is complied, but they still have to do the permitting and inspection within 45 days, and the rental license and certificate of use within 30.
Oops, excuse me. Matter number 16, CE 20120140-1386, The Point Drive.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On December 10th, the property at 1386 The Point Drive was cited for unsanitary condition, mold found in unit by provided mold testing of unit. Certified mail was sent on December 14th. Certified mail was received December 18th. I have been in contact with the property manager. He's been waiting to take possession of the unit because they do have a clause in their lease requiring mold eradication with only an empty unit. I was informed by the property managers by email that they did take possession of the unit on January 31st. So with that being said, city's recommending 45 days to provide proof that the mold has been eradicated from that unit, or $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
All right, with the received certified mail, the city has proper notice. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I'll accept the city's recommendation, allow the respondent 45 additional days to comply by having the independent testing verify that the mold has been cleared up. After that, daily fines of $100 per day until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 17, CE 20120203, 5601 Corporate Way, Unit 111.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On December 15th, the business at 5601 Corporate Way, Unit 111, I received a complaint from the fire department that this business was operating illegally. Upon visiting the property, there was a business advertised on the door and no record of a business receipt or certificate of use for that business. Business was posted January 11th, 2021. Certified mail was sent December 12th. Certified mail was returned December 21st. However, I have been in contact with that said business owner. He has filled out the application for the business tax receipt, but there are some items that are still required of him. So with that being said, city's recommending 30 days to come into compliance, or a one-time fine of $250 and $100 a day on the COU.
All right, with the returned certified mail and posting, the city has proper notice based on the evidence and the testimony. I will find the property remains in violation as cited. For the certificate of use violation, well, for both violations, I'll allow the respondent 30 additional days to comply. After that, for the certificate of use violation, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved, and for the business tax violation, a one-time fine of $250 would be assessed.
All right, thank you.
Matter number 18, CE 20120278, 1020 36th Street.
Good morning. Ray Leung, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance. 1020 36th Street was initially cited on 12/22 of 20 with a notice hand-delivered on 12/22 of 20 as well. Certified mail was sent on 12/23 of 20. This property was cited for 18103I, 18106A, 18162A, 2232A, 1897-1, 1897-2, 34102A, 94302A4, and 9471C. Contact has been made with the tenant, but not the owner. All violations still exist. Therefore, the city requests an additional 30 days to come into compliance, or $250 per day until compliance is achieved.
What am I looking at there? Is that
Yeah, that's the backyard.
That
You'll see
ditch, though, what was
there's
that?
outside storage, fence repair, the inoperable vehicle, trash and debris. There's about half the violations in the back.
Okay,
Yeah.
saw that.
On the inside, the sink, the toilet doesn't work. The AC works half the time, leaks.
All right, I will find proper notice with the hand delivery and the certified mail as well. Based on the evidence, which includes, I guess the video was taken by the tenant,
Correct.
and then the other photographs, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I'll accept the city's recommendation, allow an additional 30 days to comply. Thereafter, daily fines of $100 or $250 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Thank you.
Matter number 20, CE 21010145, 2649 Electronics Way.
Ray Leung, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance. 2649 Electronics Way was initially cited on 1/13/21 with a notice of violation posted at the property and City Hall on 1/2/21. Certified mail was sent on 1/14/21. Property was cited for 18106A, 18106B, 18215B, and 7894C. Contact has been made with the owner, who did comply with 18106A. All other code sections remain. Special Magistrate, the overgrowth at this property poses a potential threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the community by being a possible haven for rodents, vermin, pests, etc. Therefore, the city requests an additional 10 days to come into compliance or abatement.
All right, thank you. I will find proper notice in this case. I will find, based on the evidence and testimony, the property has complied with 18106A, but remains in violation with 18106B, 18215B, and 7894C. Based on the photographs, those violations do appear to constitute a threat to public health, safety, and welfare. I will allow the respondent 10 additional days to comply. After that, the city is authorized to enter the property, abate the violations, and assess the costs.
Thank you.
Matter number 21, CE 20110165, 1030 21st Street.
Good morning, Laura Borso, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Per sections 18209-A and 18212C, the owners of vacant properties, whether they have a structure or not, are required to register the property with the city or by going through a third-party pro-champs and paying a $250 registration fee. This requires the owner to post the property with the name and 24-hour contact of the local property manager. 1030 21st Street has not complied with that regulation. So notice was sent certified mail on 11/19/20. That property was also posted on 1/8/21. Pro-champs also attempted to contact the owner on 6/29/20 to no avail. And as of 2/2/21, the owner has not complied with this requirement. So the city is asking the magistrate to find the property in violation, giving an additional 10 days for compliance or $25 a day until complied.
25, you said?
25, sir, yes.
All right, I find proper service has been obtained. Based on the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I'm going to accept the city's recommendation, allow the respondent 10 additional days to comply. After that, daily fines of $25 a day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 22, CE 20110166, 1030 State Street.
Laura Borso, Code Enforcement, West Palm Beach. Again, per sections 18209A and 18212C, the owners of vacant properties are required to register the property with the city or by going through a third-party pro-champs and paying a $250 registration fee. Notice was sent for this property, certified and mailed on 11/19/20. The property was also posted on January 8th, 2021. Pro-champs also attempted to contact this owner on 6/29/20 as well as 7/19/2019. As of yesterday, February 2nd, 2021, the owner still has not complied with this requirement. City is asking the magistrate to find the property in violation, giving an additional 10 days for compliance or $25 a day until complied.
All right, thank you. I will find proper notice in this case. I will find, based on the testimony and the evidence, the property remains in violation as cited. I'll accept the city's recommendation to allow an additional 10 days for the respondent to comply. Thereafter, daily fines of $25 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 23, CE 20110168, 1037 18th Street.
Laura Borso, West Palm Beach Code. Again, per sections 18209A and 18212C, the owners of vacant properties, whether they have a structure or not, are required to register that property with the city or by going through pro-champs and paying a $250 registration fee. 1037 18th Street was sent certified notice and mailed on 11/19/20. The property was also posted on January 8th of 2021. Pro Champs also attempted to contact this owner on August 19th of 2020. As of February 2nd, 2021, the owner has not complied with this requirement. We are asking for an additional 10 days for compliance or $25 a day until complied.
Thank you. I do find proper notice in this case. I find, based on the evidence, that the property remains in violation as cited. I will accept the city's recommendation and give the respondent an additional 10 days to comply. Thereafter, daily fines of $25 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 24, CE 2011-0169, 1050 Andrews Road.
Laura Borso, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Per sections 18209A and 18212C, the owners of vacant properties are required to register those properties with the city or by going through a third-party Pro Champs and paying a $250 registration fee. 1050 Andrews is not registered with Pro Champs, so the notice was sent certified and mailed on 11/19/20. The property was also posted on January 8th, 2021. Pro Champs also attempted to contact the owner on June 29th of 2020. As of February 2nd, 2021, the owner still has not complied with this requirement, so the city is asking for an additional 10 days for compliance or $25 a day until complied.
All right, I will find proper notice in this case. Based on the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I will accept the city's recommendation, allow 10 additional days for the respondent to comply. After that, daily fines of $25 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 25, CE 2011-0170, 1103 17th Street.
Laura Borso, Code Enforcement, West Palm Beach. Per City Code, Sections 18209A and 18212C, owners of vacant properties, whether they have structure or not, are required to register the property with the city or by going through a third-party Pro Champs and paying a $250 registration fee. This property is vacant and it is not registered. Notice was sent certified and mailed on 11/19/2020, and the property was posted on January 8th of 2021. Pro Champs also attempted to contact this owner on 10/27/2019 and 12/19/2019. As of February 2nd, 2021, the owner has not complied with the requirement. The city is asking for an additional 10 days for compliance or $25 a day until complied.
Thank you. I will find proper notice in this case. I will find, based on the evidence, that the property remains in violation as cited. I'll accept the city's recommendation, allow an additional 10 days for the respondent to comply. Thereafter, daily fines of $25 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 26, CE 2011-0171, 1103 22nd Street.
Laura Borso, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement, 1103 17th Street, per sections 18209A and 18212C, the owners of vacant properties, whether they have a structure or not, are required to register the property with the city or going through a third-party Pro Champs and paying a $250 registration fee. This vacant property was not registered, so notice was sent certified and mailed on 11/19/20. Property was posted on January 8th, 2021. Pro Champs has also attempted to contact the owner on July 3rd of 2020. As of February 2nd, 2021, the owner has not complied with this requirement. City is asking for an additional 10 days for compliance or $25 a day until complied.
Thank you. I will find proper notice in this case. I will find, based on the evidence, property remains in violation as cited. I'll accept the city's recommendation to allow the respondent an additional 10 days to comply. Thereafter, daily fines of $25 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Thank you.
Matter number 27, CE 2012-0179, 1231 Roebuck Court, has complied. Matter number 28, CE 2012-0185, 1156 Elizabeth Avenue.
Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 1156 Elizabeth Avenue was initially cited on 12/14/20. Certified mail was sent on 12/15/20. We do have a signed certified mail receipt on file. Property, as well as City Hall, was posted on 12/15/20. Property was cited for 18265, boarding certificate, 34-102A, junk and/or abandoned vehicle on property, 94-315-A, dumpster screening, and 94-402-B.2-5, prohibited portable signage. As of last evening, the following sections have complied: 34-102A and 94-402-B dot 2-5. 18-265 is still outstanding, and also 94-315-A is still outstanding. I have had opportunity to speak to the respondent, who's the property manager. He indicated that he is in process of getting the boarding certificate and also pulling permits for the screening of the dumpster. City's requesting an additional 45 days in order to comply, or fine of $50 per day be imposed.
Thank you. I do find proper notice with the signed certified mail in this case. Based on the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation of 18-265 and 94-315A, but has complied with the other city code sections cited in the notice. Accept the city's recommendation to allow an additional 45 days for the respondent to comply. Thereafter, daily fines of $50 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 31, CE 2101-0165-209 South Olive Avenue has complied. Matter number 32, CE 2101-0182-517 Clematis Street has complied. Matter number 33, CE 2101-0192 Longwood Street.
This is a vacant lot that's located on Longwood Street. Property was cited on 1/15/21. Certified mail was sent on 1/19/21. We do have a signed certified mail receipt on file. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted on 1/19/21. Property was cited for 74-4-C-5, cleanup of the right-of-way, more specifically the easement adjacent the vacant lot. As of last evening, all violations still remain. City would like to give them an additional 30 days in order to comply, or a fine of $100 per day be imposed.
All right, I do find proper notice with the signed certified mail. I will, based on the evidence, find the property remains in violation as cited. I will accept the city's recommendation and allow the respondent 30 days to comply. Thereafter, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 34, CE 2101-0223-417 South Dixie Highway.
Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 417 South Dixie Highway was cited on 1/21/21. Certified mail was sent on 1/22/21. The certified mail was returned. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted on 1/21/21. Property was cited for 18105J, painting of the structure, 18106A, clean and sanitary conditions, 18215B, securing of a vacant structure, and 54-85, graffiti on the structure that needs to be removed, and 74-4-C-5, cleanup of the right-of-way. The city's requesting an immediate abatement on 18214B. There's two doors to the rear of this property that are closed, but they're not secured. I have noted that there are vagrant people in this particular area that kind of hang around this area, and I'm sure at night people are going into this structure. So the city is requesting an immediate abatement on 18214B. Once again, it presents as a health and safety issue to the community. All other violations, the city is requesting 30 days in order to comply, or a fine of $200 per day be imposed.
All right, thank you. With the posting and the return certified mail, I find proper notice. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I will find that the violation of 18214B regarding the unsecured vacant property and the testimony about vagrancy in the area creates a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare. I will authorize immediate abatement of that violation. The city is authorized to enter the property, abate, and assess the costs. For the remaining violations, I will also accept the city's recommendation, allow an additional 30 days to comply, and thereafter daily fines of $200 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Matter number 35, CE 21010228 South Dixie Highway.
Excuse me, Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach, property 421 South Dixie, cited on 1/21/21. Certified mail was sent on 1/22/21. Certified mail, once again, was returned. The property as well as City Hall was posted on 1/21/21. Property was cited for 18105J, painting of the structure, 18106A, trash and debris on the property, and 18106B, excessive growth. The city is requesting, once again, 30 days in order to comply, or a fine of $200 per day be imposed. Same owner. Right now, it seems that they are a little bit derelict in terms of maintaining their properties.
These right next door to each other?
Yes, they are.
Okay, I do find proper notice with the posting and the returned certified mail. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I will accept the city's recommendation, allow the respondent 30 additional days to comply. Thereafter, daily fines of $200 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. I think that's it until the, what is it, 11:30? All right, then why don't we go off the record until we're ready to proceed with the reduction hearings.
Okay.